What's up, YouTube? Melton Mel Anthony with another one for you. So, I keep getting the same question over and over again. What do you carry on your truck? What is inside an El Caracol? That's what I call my truck, the snail, because it's incredibly slow. So today, I'm going to give you a tour of what's inside of the cabinets in my truck. I'm a little apprehensive. I don't really want people knowing where I put stuff, but I figure forget it. If it's going to help you guys out, we'll go ahead and do it, and I'll take that risk. So let's get on, and I'll show you the cab, and then we're going to work our way around the truck, and I'll kind of explain some of the equipment and why I have it on my truck. So El Caracol is a 1997 F Super Duty. Technically a 450 because it is a 10 lug. She runs great. She has a 7.3. She's two-wheel drive. I got this truck for a steal. It needed a lot of work. It still needs a lot of work, but I do it as I'm going because I can't afford to put this thing down for more than a day or two. I've done a little bit of work. We put a new seat in it. It needs a new steering wheel cover. At some point I'll do that, some trim fixed, but it's been a great work truck overall. I keep some tools in here, some extra gauges, silly things like that so they don't get bounced around too much. So what that red button is there is my PTO engage. I just pull that up and that allows the hydraulics to flow to my crane. So that's the cab of the truck. In this first cabinet is mostly just miscellaneous stuff. It's a little sloppy in here right now, not really the way I like to do it. It's just like lubes, paint, you know, just whatever. Some mechanic tools I keep. Don't tell anyone that. I don't turn wrenches for a living. I just keep these for myself in this truck, just in case I need to work on something, what have you. This cabinet's kind of the same. It's more mechanics tools. My more commonly used ones. Again, you can see the labeling. We won't go into each individual box. There's no reason. So that brings me to the next cabinet. Now we're starting to get into what I do. The welding tools, the cutting tools, the what have you. This is probably my favorite cabinet. I keep my torch stuff and my chisels up top. This is basically just a bunch of Smith tips. And then, you know, you got miscellaneous chisels. Kind of a weird mixture, but whatever, it's how it laid. It says spool gun, but there's nothing in here for a spool gun. This is all squares, measuring tapes, different measuring tools, bullet level, angle finders, chalk line, and some writing utensils as well. In this drawer, I keep my drill bits and tap and die. So I have a small tap and die kit in here, and then I have a bunch of miscellaneous drill bits. I love these step bits for thinner material. They work quickly. I like to drill a pilot hole and then come back with these step bits. These things are fantastic. And then down here in the bottom is just some Allen keys, some oil wrenches and whatnot. Got my pipe wrap up there. The torches. You guys have seen this on 4 torches. I think every mobile welder should carry. This is my most used one. It's a Harris. It's got a #1 tip in it. Then of course I have my heating head torch. This is like some no brand Harbor Freight stuff, but it works. Here we have a Victor. I use this one for gouging primarily. As you can see, it's got that scarfing tip on it, is what they call it in the business. That little bent tip that helps you light up and then push material out of wherever it is. And then here is my old Smith. This is a real nice torch. It's got a real nice hand feel. When I'm cutting stuff a little thicker or a little longer, I like to pull out the old Smith. I actually got this. I found this in a junk pile, and I had it restored. This is easily a $300 torch, and I think I have like 60 bucks into the restoration. And all the tips that you've seen actually came with the truck. So, and finally, last but not least, is my Smith demo torch. This was an expensive torch, kind of bought it on a whim, but it saved my arms quite a bit when I was doing that stairway replacement job that you guys seen me on back in the day of a life of an independent mobile welder. But yeah, this is a great torch right here, this Smith. Cost me a real pretty penny, but super light. You could do cutting from far away with this one. So down in here, I keep my Metabo drill, a bunch of different sets of bits, and then hammers. All sorts of miscellaneous hammers, ball peen, my favorite chipping hammer. I've had this one for a long time, great hammer. Smaller ball peen, sledgehammers, you know, just all handheld hammers in there. So that pretty much seals this drawer. So over here, back to my final cabinet on this side of the truck. This is where I keep all the more heavy duty tools because of the size of the cabinet. This here is my DeWalt mag drill. Love that thing. If you don't have a mag drill and you're in this business, I highly suggest you go and grab one. That's a game-changing tool. That thing is just indispensable. Anyway, moving on, because I do a lot of handrail and concrete installation, I keep a hammer drill on me, and I also keep a notcher on me in case I have to make some railing on site. Two great tools to have. That pretty much wraps up the cabinet. Usually I have my chop saw down in there, but I have a friend borrowing that right now. All right, so this is a Wilson vise given to me by my father. It's not one of those crazy top-of-the-line bullet vices, but it was a really nice present. So I made this little stand real quick and then mounted it on the back of my truck with some stuff I had laying around. Definitely need a vise if you're gonna be in this business. Brings me to my next necessary tool that's on my truck, my Trailblazer 302. I actually bought this unit used. I've never bought a brand new generator welder. I just don't feel the need to because my small engine mechanic skills are pretty good. Never had a problem with this unit, knock on wood. Got this thing for $2,500, it was a steal. But anyway, yeah, so it's got the remote mode. It's got scratch start TIG, it's got wire feed. I mean, this thing can just do it all. So in the bed of my truck, I keep my extension cords, obviously, my short leads, just in case, you know, I'm doing a job that's not too far away. And of course, my little tool rack holder here. We have my sledgehammer, my tire hammer, which is currently falling apart apparently, a couple of pry bars and a broom. Over here, my oxygen and acetylene. I like to keep two smaller bottles instead of one large bottle, and then, you know, one regular size bottle of acetylene. And down here, you'll see a small argon. I use this small argon for my spool gun jobs mostly, and any scratch start TIG I might do, which I do from time to time on stainless. And then over here are my removable metal racks. I keep all sorts of miscellaneous metal in here because I never know what I'm gonna run into. As a general repair guy, I find this very helpful. I also keep a ladder on the truck most days. Pieces of wood. You see a fishing pole because, you know, we're in Florida and, you know, you never know when you're gonna be sitting there waiting for a customer. But other than that, let's get to the other side of the truck. All right, so what you'll see here is my IMT crane. It's a 2015 model. From what I understand, these things are kind of sought after. I don't know why, but it just came with the truck. The guy who owned the truck previous to me clearly added it on. It wasn't something that came with it originally. This thing is indispensable. If you're gonna get into this business and you're gonna stay mobile, it should be your goal to get something with a crane. I mean, this crane has helped me land so many jobs, it's not even funny. I love this thing. And it's been a restoration project and a half. And as you can see, it still needs a little work. I made a deal with my general contractor friend who owns a sandblaster to go ahead, sandblast and repaint this thing in the next coming months. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Let's get inside of the crane box here. All right, so as you can see, it's all been framed off with some heavy gauge tube. I didn't do any of this. The truck came like this, just so everybody knows. In here, I have some plate grabbers. I don't know exactly what you call these things, but yeah, that pretty much sums up this box on the truck. Not much going on in here. It's mainly just the frame for the crane and crane accessories. So that now we're into like my main cutting, grinding, and PPE box. So I have this little bin that I made up. It holds all my different accessories for my grind. And then of course my grinders. I don't know what this Milwaukee's doing in there. This thing's garbage. Don't buy Milwaukee's. And then here, my favorite grinder, my Metabo, my 6-inch. As you can see, this bad boy got ran over in that video where I was fixing the loading dock for you guys who have seen it. So she's kind of in rough shape, but she still turns on and works, so don't fix it if it ain't broke, right? And then obviously, you know, my face shield, the hard hat, fiber metal, or whatever you guys want to call it, the old school welding helmet you guys see me wear a lot. I like that one. And then I'm not endorsed by this company, but I love their gloves. Black Stallion, they make the best fitting gloves. I've gone through all sorts. These things actually last me about 3 months of daily welding, which is extremely impressive in my book. So shout out to Black Stallion. Thanks for making a good product. And then over here, you know, you got my torch goggles. I use these a lot. And then of course, your breathing respirator there. You don't want, you know, your lungs can really get messed up in this business. You want to make sure you protect your lungs. I prefer the 2297 because it is a P100 filter. These things were hard to get during the pandemic. I finally just ordered them in bulk, so that way I would make sure I wouldn't run out again, just in case the government decides to do what it did last time. So in here we have my sticks, my welding rods, some spools of wire, some cable connectors, just any sort of welding accessories. Here's my Scratch Start CK. Like I said, I mostly use this on stainless. Over here we have a little flux core, just waiting, some 030. Use that a lot on repair jobs. And then down here, some 6010, some 6011, which I rarely use. 6013 over into our 7018, and I think there's some 8018 in the corner over here that I rarely use, but I still keep it on the truck. So the reason I keep them in this box is because it stays drier than the truck box. It's got this seal. I never have any moisture issues with my rods, luckily, so that is why they are in this. Down in this box, I keep my wire feed. I'm not a fan. I know a lot of you guys are like, dual shield, LN25, dual shield. Guess what? I have it. I just don't like it. I'd rather push stick. Everybody's like, well, it's faster. I don't do a lot of production long run welds, so it's not faster for me. I just prefer stick. It's quick, easy. I don't gotta lug this stupid thing around, but I have it. It has its place, and sometimes I do use it, but rarely. And then if you come down here, so down here you'll see all my different clamps. I like these long clamps, these long vice grip clamps, and then F clamps. These are a necessity. I have a bunch of these F clamps. These things are just indispensable. They're probably the best clamps that I have. And yeah, they're all Harbor Freight because I don't really care about brand names. Yeah, all Harbor Freight. Got more of these clamps. Got some weld-ons that I just cut C clamps, which is what I do. I don't actually buy dogs. I find it's cheaper just to buy C clamps, and these knock off easier than dogs do. I can just knock this off with a hammer, and the cast will break away instead of the material you're welding on. Up here, just more clamps, and another C clamp cut and used as a dog. Do that a lot, and then just miscellaneous sizes. Over here, just miscellaneous little clamps, little vice grip clamps, some sheet metal clamps, because from time to time I do that. A spreader clamp. This thing's indispensable. And then over here, just C-clamps that are waiting to be cut and used as dogs. So there's not much in here right now. Just a big impact, a piece of my trim that I need to glue back on. But this is usually where I keep my little Hobart for those flux core jobs that are thinner gauge that I have to do from time to time. But right now it's not in here, it's sitting in the garage, so that cabinet's empty. All right, guys, so that's the contents of El Caracol. This thing has been a great truck to me. It's needed a lot of work. It needs a lot of maintenance even still. But I think this is the ideal setup if you're going to be an independent mobile welder. Utility bed, crane, obviously an engine drive. And of course, torches in the bed. But if you like what you saw here today, if this helped you out, if it helped give you an idea of what maybe you should carry on your welding truck, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share the video, do what you can. Don't be greedy with your likes and subscribes. Have a great day. Keep pushing rod, keep welding, keep doing what you do, and I'll catch you on the next video.